For those of you that want to start your own apple orchard on less than an acre, I have 30 trees here. I've got to get these pruned up. Got most of them done before the snow hit. I have a few Honeycrisp to go, but I started out with 30 trees. I have the Wealthy, which are my favorite trees. I then went Connell Reds and the Honeycrisp. By these three varieties, you get an early apple, get great cross pollination, and you get not only good eating apples, but you get good pie apples. Now you need to trim these back every year hard, especially the Honeycrisp and the Wealthies. If you don't, they'll only produce every other year. You got a few apples, but not many. Trim them back hard, and you'll get a lot. Now these scions here is what I will use to do some grafting. This orchard is pretty mature now. I've had it here for 12 years. It's just a hobby orchard. I do not sell my apples. I give my apples away to Ronald McDonald, work, friends, family, even the home ec schools or classes in the schools. I do not sell them. When I spray, I use Bonide fruit spray. I spray twice. When the apples are about the size of my thumb, 6 weeks later, that's it. And I let them go from there, and I spray lightly. I do not spray heavily. When I planted these trees, I squared off what I had. And like I said, here I've got maybe not even half an acre that I'm putting these apple trees on. And I step off large steps, 6 strides in both the row and the column direction. So everything's squared off. The trees will start to grow together like you said. These are my Honeycrisp. A lot of apples still left. We gave tons away. We're probably averaging 5 bushels a tree. And so we're really getting the apples. And of course, that brings in a lot of deer. A lot of deer sign here, and a lot of deer, nice bucks and stuff come through here. To do my trimming, I use 2 tools. I don't like to use a ladder, and if you've got semi-dwarfs or dwarfs, these 2 tools work fine. I use a prune cutter here that you can get for $10 or a little less. I use this extension prune and saw cutter here, which is ideal. This will reach anything that you need. Cut the larger branches or saw them off. These 2 tools will do anything you need them to do. Now if you want to get into grafting, I started some grafting 2 years ago. I was not successful the first year. Second year, you can see here's a nice Honeycrisp onto my Connells. Why do I draft? Just for fun. Like I said, it's all a hobby and learning. Everything I've done in my orchard I have learned for myself, reading books or internet. Hopefully I can give you some pointers. But the first year I did the grafting, all I did is I took this section here, I cut them at about 45s. I used tapes that I had at home, electrical tape, whatever I could find. Then I used paraffin wax to seal it. That did not work. Now last year I went out and I bought some tree tape. I bought white. I would recommend maybe getting some red, even some hunter's tape that will work just as good and stretch. And I bought some tree wound to seal to seal my joints up. And you can see it right here. And that worked great. 2 joints that you can use. One's called the cliff joint. That's the easiest. Very high success rate. We're talking 90 to 100%. There's another one where you can cut them both at a 45, and then at the core, where you can see the core of the branch, you make another slot to interlock them. That one's a little more difficult, but same thing. I did have a high success rate, but I do recommend using the cliff joint. It will work for trees starting from rootstock or to grafting branches and having multiple trees growing on one tree. And that's what I want to do with these Connells. They grow so big and so fast that it's time to play with them, have some fun. If you're into growing your own trees, that does take a few years. You can buy a rootstock, start with a rootstock, and you can graft onto that rootstock, and then you can take one of them and you can plant it. Let it grow the first year. Second year, cut it down and ground level, and then bury that into some sand or some sawdust. It will get shoots. Those shoots will root, and then the following year you can take those shoots and cut them off and use those as your rootstock. I'm also going to play with that. But again, growing your own apple orchard, it's going to take 3 years to get apples, and you have to protect those. A lot of these had fences, or they all had fences and rabbit cages around the base. Now that they're mature enough, I've taken all that off. So just come in from trimming apples, and here's an 8-point. Follow me right down from the woods into the apple orchard.